Hey ladies and gents, Scheme Rhythm here, after a very long absence with another episode of my Ocarina of Time 3 Heart Run. First off, I want to give a huge apology for the really large gap between videos. It's really difficult to record whenever I'm at school, and school comes first, frankly, especially when you're a science major. So, last time we were in Jabu's belly, and we were going through. Princess Ruto found the sapphire that we're trying to get. So, here we are. Now, I want to say a few things in regards to... I mean, a lot of things have happened in the past, like, few months even. And a lot of things have changed within the community. And first off, I want to say... First off, turn the volume down on that. Holy shit. Okay. And first, I just want to say that I want to thank you guys for staying with me, actually, because the my average viewers, or my number of subscribers has actually gone up since I stopped uploading as frequently. Holy shit, get after this guy, Link. There we go. And, you know, I'm at 31 subscribers now, which is incredibly good considering where I was at before. I don't even remember where I was at whenever my last video for this went up. But, it certainly hasn't been from the content recently. If anything, I think it's been from Metal Gear Solid. Twin Snakes, that LP. A lot of people seem to like that for some reason. But you know, I'm not complaining at all. I do like that game. It's just, as far as my work goes, it's not the greatest thing. In regards to Ocarina of Time, I just want to say, I'm going to be finishing this game, obviously, but I'm going to be cutting out cutscenes, which I should have been doing in the first place. Which, oh look, he's down. But, I mean, like I said, I should have been doing that in the first place, but for some reason I haven't been, and, I don't know, if you want to watch this series for the story of Ocarina of Time, I suggest going and watching an actual full Let's Play of it that really shows off what the game is like. Like, Josh Jepson, for example, did actually the full game, and, you know, so did Nintendo Capri Sun. Really, compared to them, I'm just not as good. I caught a fairy in a bottle! I guess. You can't really see anything in that bottle, can you? But I mean, one nice thing I'd like to talk about is that while Ocarina of Time is a great game, I have to say it's also one of the most overrated games of all time. And what did I just do that for? So much for the fairy. Oh well. Last time I did this boss, I lost not even a heart on it, so I suppose it shouldn't be too bad. But like I was saying, Ocarina of Time, vastly overrated in my opinion. Just, as games go, I feel like it hasn't held up in terms of the writing and everything, and in terms of just what kind of game it is. I feel like a lot of later games did everything better. Not just the graphics, but I mean, like, for example, Majora's Mask even, I think, has better writing than this game. This game's writing suffers a bit from just, I guess, from being the first, but in my opinion, it's because of that it just kind of falls behind. It was really nice for what it did at the time, but just because it did something for the first time doesn't make it, in my opinion, something that should be revered in a lasting sort of way. Well, let me rephrase that. It should be revered, but it shouldn't be this game that's held above all the others, and it shouldn't get an excuse from being not considered, whether or not it's considered better, because, like, even the Z targeting, I feel like Wind Waker was a lot more spot on, and like, while this game was the first to do that for the series, I don't feel like it should get an exemption because it was the first. Oh wait, there's a gold skulltula up there. I'm not getting all those gold skulltulas as I mentioned before, but I would like to get rid of this one because it's annoying and in the way, sort of. Of course, I could just miss it. That would also be pretty nice to do. I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, but I've completed the 3DS version of this game, and it really is quite good, and it actually alleviates some of the issues I have with it. Like, I mean, obviously it's a graphics update, but also they changed some of the writing and made it a little better, but it's usually just little snippets of it here and there, and it's usually not anything as far as I mean, like, the basic idea behind the writing is still there. So I have a hard time giving it a complete pass. But with that said, Ocarina of Time is still a great game, and I still enjoy it very much, and it's definitely a lot more replayable than games like, for example, I find Wind Waker to be. Now here's a boss I was dreading because I never remember how to fight him. But considering that I did this last night and just forgot to press the record button, it shouldn't be too bad. Not to mention this time I actually know where I'm going, so it shouldn't take nearly as long as it did then. Of course, he resembles a boss in Wind Waker to me, actually. You fight him in a similar way. You use the, this is the second dungeon of the game, just like in Wind Waker, more or less. Not counting the, well, not counting the introductory dungeon, so really, it's technically speaking the third dungeon, just like in Wind Waker. Oh my god, lock onto him! Navi, you're fired. Damn it. But yeah, like I said, it's the introductory, it's kind of like the third dungeon of the game, and its boss is very similar, using the hook shots and here. Oh god, move, Link, move! I'm sucking so horribly at this boss right now. A problem I was having last night, actually, is that I'm using a classic controller because I've transferred everything to my Wii U, and there are obviously no GameCube controller ports, and I don't have. There's a little adapter you can actually get that'll let you hook a GameCube controller up to your Wii remote like you would a classic controller, and I don't have that, obviously, as I've mentioned, but would you just please, thank you. But the classic controller is weird because it has, instead of the gigantic A button like the GameCube has, it has the diamond layout similar to a 360 controller. But unlike a 360 controller, the A and B button are in opposite spots, and the X and Y button are in opposite spots. So it gets a little weird to get used to, not to mention this one has the two shoulder buttons plus the two triggers, which the GameCube controller obviously does not have. And it's taken a little bit of getting used to, but I've gotten pretty used to it. I say as I get hit. Oh my. Jesus. That was obviously a lot more trouble than I had last night. But, I mean, like I said, this controller is weird. And the Classic Controller Pro doesn't work with the Wii U Virtual Console games, and they obviously haven't released this on the Virtual Console yet. Nintendo, you should get on that. And Ruto. Ruto's a little bit of an annoying character to me. I don't care for her. It's, I don't know. She gets a lot better when she's older. I say that. Oh god. But, I mean, that's most characters, I suppose. But she isn't too bad after you're out of Jabu Jabu's belly. Which I don't know why we ended up on this random-ass tree branch, but we did. So here we are. And, oh my god, that's so creepy. And she's like 12. Why does she... Never mind. So, yeah. I feel like... I'm so upset that I forgot to press record last night, because the commentary was actually decent. But oh well. That's... meh. So, because I spent so long away from recording LP videos, I'm gonna make this one a little longer. I think what I'm going to end up doing is recording the rest of this before uploading any other parts, even if I have to post-commentate it. And then I'll for sure be able to get them uploaded more frequently. But we'll see. So yeah, she just gave me basically the equivalent of an engagement ring, and we're not going to see her again for 7 years. So, wonder how she feels about that. Well, she doesn't really react too horribly whenever we see her again, so I suppose it's not too bad. I'm trying to think. Don't tell your father. Aww. Oh, crap, my health is still... it's fine. Thankfully, unlike Wind Waker, you can't really drown in this game. So first off, I'm going to be going over here and getting to, actually, I'm going to get another power, which I don't know why I didn't do this before the dungeon, but blah. So you come over here, you notice these few rocks, you think, oh, I bet I can bomb these rocks. And it's like, okay, sure. And then, instead of the rock blowing up, the entire wall blows up. Isn't that funny? Alright, and here we are at the Great Fairies Fountain. And if I can remember Zelda's Lullaby, that'd be great. Yep. It's like riding a horse. You remember that sort of stuff. Now, I've got like 3 things that I want to do before finishing this episode off. I believe this is one of them. Oh my god. I hate the fairies in this game. It's another reason why I think... It's a minor thing, but I think this game... Another reason I think this game is overrated. And it's not just a graphics thing, too. I mean, pointiness aside, if you see the ones in Twilight Princess, they're done in this exact same kind of art style. They don't look any prettier. But anyway, you get Farore's Wind, which is a pretty nice power to have, honestly. It lets you teleport... It lets you set a point that you can teleport back to later in a dungeon. And it's very useful for speedrunning and stuff like that. And if you ever watch Versus, they use that quite a bit in the dungeons when they're racing each other. And it's actually kind of funny to see them. But, you know, Versus is kind of funny. Alright, now that's done, can I... No? Okay. Well, at least I got healed. So let's see. There's also a Fairies Fountain in Hyrule Field that I want to go to. And I also have to get something from... I'm going to be swimming down Zora's River and going to Kakariko Village, actually, because there's something I want to get from there that I didn't get before. And I can't believe I didn't get it before, but apparently not. And this game is... It's kind of tedious to go through and travel all this way. Yeah. Hey Ruto, bye Ruto, see you in 7 years. By the way, thanks for giving me the engagement ring. then again, I suppose you could be upset at me for leaving you for 7 years, but then again, you did kind of, you know, get engaged at 12 years old, so I really don't know how upset you can be at that. Just saying, I mean, if you're gonna get engaged, don't get engaged at 12 years old. Hell, I'm 20 years old, and I don't... At the soonest I plan on getting engaged, if at all, is gonna be, like, at least 3 or 4 years from now, assuming that I'm with the same girl. But that's neither here nor there. The point being, don't get engaged at 12. It's, of course, I suppose Hyrule is kind of medieval, so it wouldn't matter as much to them. Anyway, I'll meet you guys at Kakariko Village. Well, here we are at Kakariko Village, and we're going to the graveyard. It's something that's so obvious that, I mean, I usually get this every time I play through, but apparently I didn't get it whenever I was coming through here earlier. I know this from checking the songs that I have. We're on our way to get the Sun Song, which I don't know if that actually plays any role in this, but I think I'd better get it just to be safer than sorry. I mean, obviously I got the shield from here, but I didn't get this. If you talk to either of these graves on the side, a ghost will appear. That's pretty interesting. But here you just play Zelda's Lullaby, as you do every time you see a Triforce symbol on the ground. And, no, I just did this on the 3DS, and I'm curious to see how it compares in this version. Obviously there's less glare. For some reason when I do that in this spot in the 3DS version, there's like a glare right behind Link. It's very distracting. Yeah, it's pretty similar. So playing a song on a non-magical ocarina, mind you, causes lightning to strike and destroy a memorial stone. That's pretty bad. Gotta say, that's pretty bad. Oh, and the nice thing is about getting this out of the way now is we have the boomerang, so we don't have to waste our Deku seeds on these bats. Now, if I remember, there are like 4 or there are 3. There are 4. Where is the other one, though? There he is! The motherfucker was hiding right above the freaking doorway that I came in. Alright, that took way longer than it should have. Way longer. But, yeah, here we go. You have to kill all 4 bats to get in here. And what is in here? Why, Redeads. Redeads. Why the Redeads? Ah, I hate Redeads with a burning passion. But their scream in this game is nowhere near as bad as it is in Wind Waker. The Wind Waker Redead scream is the worst thing, by far. It is so... It freaked me out the first time I heard it, and I knew what Redeads were. Well, that's not entirely true. I knew what they were in Smash Bros. Melee. They look completely different in Wind Waker, so they kind of threw me off, and I was like, oh shit, it's one of them. Kill it quickly! But then they took forever to kill, because they're evil. And here's another thing that I noticed. The 3DS version, it's much easier to remember the Ocarina songs. At least in my opinion. Because, for one thing, you can tap them on the bottom screen if you want to. You can tap the buttons. They have the little layout for you play the Ocarina like that. Or you can do the one on the Ocarina, or you can do the 3DS's buttons for it. And for that song, instead of like C-stick right down up, it's like YRA, YRA, or no, it's XRB, XRB. This buttons on these controllers confusing me. And I don't know, for some reason I find that much easier to do. Probably because it requires 2 separate fingers from one hand, as opposed to one finger doing all the work. and so I can do it faster, I guess. But the nice thing about this little song here is that not only can it change day to night and night to day, but it also freezes redeads and I would assume Gibdos, which are mummies. So that's really, really nice. And then from there you can just wail on them until they die. Which, as you can see, takes a little bit. But they're frozen for quite a while, so usually if you play that, you'll be able to get rid of all of them. It's still faster to just avoid them completely, but sometimes you can't count on that. And then over here, you might have read something about it being for resting souls of the dead. Well, Navi keeps on going and hovering over these bones for a reason. It spawns a fairy, basically. This is the only place in the game that I can think of. Oh, damn it. I did that exact same thing earlier, too. I tried it earlier on the other set of bones and it didn't work. I'm assuming, of course, that the 3DS version is exactly the same in that respect. So, now that we're done here, let's head on over to Hyrule Castle. Alright, back in Hyrule Field, I just want to hit on another topic. I'm going to let this cutscene play through, because it's actually rather neat, I think. But the thing I like most about future games as opposed to this one, I think, is that I just like the dungeon design more. Like in the first proper dungeon in Wind Waker, for example, I feel is much better done than the past 3 dungeons we've done in this game. And I don't know why that is exactly. Maybe it's because Wind Waker was my first proper Zelda game, actually. Because I had an N64 childhood, but at the same time, I never really played Ocarina of Time basically before I got it on the Virtual Console. I'd always heard great things about it, and I liked a lot of the music from it. But, I don't know. Here's something that bothers me. How fast can that horse possibly run with that tarp over it like that? Like, I understand it's a royal horse, you gotta make it look fancy. But what the hell? How are you expecting to outrun? Oh wait, never mind. Ganon has like armor on his horse. So, also he has a very pointy nose. So clearly Nintendo is trying to send a message about people with brown skin and long noses. Good job, Nintendo. Good job. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That horse has really evil eyes. That's really creepy, actually. But if you'll notice, it's going through the same idle animation over and over again. If I just let it hang on this screen, you can see that it's doing that. I'm not going to do that, obviously. But he pulls out his sword. I love this part. Dot, dot, dot. I can just imagine a guy facing down this really little kid who's pulling a sword on him. He's like, just like really condescending laugh, and then he zaps you. Ganondorf, you badass. But that's another thing that I like. I prefer Wind Waker over this game almost completely. Like, I know a lot of people really hate the sailing in that game, but it never really bothered me that much. It was just kind of like a little break from the action to me. And you can see in this game that Ganondorf is a lot more arrogant, but in that game he's a lot more sympathetic. Obviously, I prefer the sympathetic Ganondorf. I don't know, just when he's arrogant, you get the sense that, like, he's this villain that can never win. But when he's sympathetic, you're just like, I feel kind of bad for fighting you. I almost wish that you could sort of have your way. But then you remember what he does in this game, you're like, wait a second, no. But anyway, here we are back in Castletown. And, oh my god, I forgot it again. I can't believe this. I remember thinking to myself, as going into that cutscene, don't forget the Ocarina of Time again. Don't forget it. And what do? I forget it. But yeah, that's the Ocarina of Time, the titular or the eponymous item of the game, and it's an actual magic ocarina. I mean, come on. How did I forget this twice? But we're about to get another song again. The reason I remember this time is because last time I ended up going to the Temple of Time and sitting there trying to play the Song of Time. I even remembered what the Song of Time was. And then I realized, oh shit, I have the wrong ocarina. I had to run back and grab it. Admittedly, it was a funny moment, but no, I can't really replicate it here. But somehow Zelda's able to leave this little, like, message in the ocarina. I don't really understand how this happens. It's like the ocarina have some sort of programming in it that lets it record messages. Is this like the royal family's equivalent of an answering machine? Oh, we can't really, we don't really have phones, but we can send you messages on our magic ocarina. I don't know. I'm a fan of the Song of Time. It's like I said, that's one thing I do like about this game over Majora's Mask. I do like the songs that you get on the ocarina compared to Majora's Mask. A lot of songs you get later on in other games tend to be remixes of ones from Majora's Mask or from this game. But I don't know. I feel like the ones like the Bolero of Fire and Song of Time. I mean, Song of Healing is neat, but they're not as good as the stuff in this game, I find. And with that, we have discarded Saria's ocarina and gotten the Ocarina of Time. So, good job, Link. You man whore. Well, at the very least, here we are on the market. I'm on my way to Hyrule Field. And on my way there, I feel like I should at least comment on this. It's something that happened a while back, you may remember. Nintendo recently issued that statement. No, not this again. Nintendo recently issued that statement that they were going to start doing content ID claims on YouTube. And they don't count as strikes against your account, but what they do is they put ads over your videos, and you can't monetize that video and make ads and make money off of those videos. Now, it's something I plan on talking about in a separate video, but just know that that's not going to affect anything that I do here, and it won't affect any future projects either, because obviously I'm not doing this for the fucking money. I'm just saying. Yeah. But this is thing number 2 that we're doing in this video, and thing number 3 is really close by. So, yeah. Again with the really heavy pointiness. I mean, the Jaggies, okay, I won't lie, they sort of bother me when you get shots like this. But, they're still not why I don't like the Great Fairy's, you know, design. I mean, you've got... It doesn't make me think tranny, but it does make me think very bad things. Like, face obviously covered in makeup. Not a very attractive face with the really pointy nose, and just the general features. Way too heavy on what looks like makeup. And then obviously the vines with the boots isn't a very good image either. And like I said, they don't look that much better in Twilight Princess. But at least in Twilight Princess, the only places you really see them are in the... I don't remember what it was, like Pit of 100 Trials or something like that. Pit of 100 Trials is what they call it in Paper Mario 2. In this game, it's... What is this? I've never been in here before, have I? No, I've been in here before. Okay. But yeah, yeah, basically its version of the Wind Waker. Same thing in the Wind Waker. Except I think that, the one in Twilight Princess has a better reward. Now that this is done, I'm not going to be going through the mask side quest, because that gets you the Mask of Truth, which I really don't think I need for anything. So, yeah. With that said, we're entering the Temple of Time. You know, that shot going into the Temple of Time, it reminds me of Resident Evil, because you may remember Resident Evil games before Resident Evil 4, I believe it was, all use that, oh shit, do I remember? No, I don't. Resident Evil games Resident Evil games before Resident Evil 4, they had a pre-rendered background, and your character moves around in that. And as a result, they were some of the better looking games in the PlayStation. And I don't remember if there was an N64 game for Resident Evil or not. But if you've seen my videos for Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, then you know that I'm not very reliable when it comes to information about games sometimes. But yeah, they did a similar thing, I think, with the Temple of Time, and actually a good bit of Castletown in general, I think. This is one of the more interesting moments in Ocarina of Time, and the big twist that starts the really good part of the game, in my opinion. I don't care at all for the first 3 dungeons, but this part gets really cool, I think. I mean, it's one of those twists that it's supposed to be the big twist of the game, and I had it ruined for me, as did everyone else that played the game later than when it was released. But it's a pretty interesting game. Well, I suppose if you watched the intro, like the introductory screen, then you knew something like this was coming up. And then you get this moment. Well, we're almost done with this video, so I guess we have nothing else but to see what the Master Sword does. Well,